Welcome to the Tom Sense Show right now. We are on the air and bringing you the news the mainstream media wants to twist or bury entirely. Before we get into it, remember that this broadcast is interactive. You can drop your questions into the chat at any point while we are talking, and if it is a real question with some meat on the bone, I will pull it up and answer it right in the middle of the news. We leave the internet noise behind and stick to what matters. Let us get straight to the stories making headlines this hour. The Democrats on Capitol Hill have apparently run out of fresh ideas, so they are digging through the old playbook again. House Judiciary Committee Ranking Member Jamie Raskin announced he is expanding his congressional inquiry into Jared Kushner. This whole thing kicked off because Kushner did not jump through Raskin's hoops regarding foreign oversight requests. Now Raskin is zeroing in on Kushner's investment firm, Affinity Partners, and an alleged $120 million land deal over in Albania. The committee claims the land is disputed and involves some suspected organized crime figure, and they want to know if Kushner used his past foreign policy roles to get sweet deals from the Albanian government. Raskin sent over a formal notice telling Kushner he has a duty to hand over his private business records, while Kushner and his team have sensibly ignored the circus and issued no formal reply. You have to love the standard Washington operates on. A private citizen does a real estate deal years after leaving public office, and Jamie Raskin treats it like an international crisis. If the standard in Washington is that doing business deals overseas makes you an immediate national security threat, then the entire city of Washington, D.C. should probably turn over its bank statements by 5 o'clock today. Kushner has not worked in government for years, but the left is so addicted to investigating anyone who ever sat at a Trump family dinner that they are now running full-time zoning enforcement for the nation of Albania. A group of 21 state attorneys general, led by Delaware Attorney General Kathy Jennings, just ran to a federal judge to stop the Trump administration from doing basic law enforcement. They managed to secure a temporary restraining order that blocks the Department of Transportation from accessing the Commercial Driver's License Information System database. This database holds records for roughly 17 million commercial truck drivers, including their social security numbers and their immigration status. When the American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators refused to hand the data over, the Department of Transportation moved to cut off more than $10 million in federal funding. Jennings called the federal push an unlawful extortion attempt and claimed the White House is trying to weaponize state files. Think about what they are actually fighting for here. The federal government asks to see if the people driving 80,000-pound semi-trucks on our public highways are legally allowed to be in the country, and 21 attorneys general treat the request like an invasion of privacy. If an ordinary citizen walks into any motor vehicle office in this country, they have to produce 3 utility bills, a birth certificate, and their grandmother's maiden name just to renew a standard tag. But the moment the federal government wants to verify the legal status of commercial truckers hauling heavy freight through our towns, suddenly checking basic paperwork is called dangerous overreach. Out in the Red Sea, the Yemen-based Houthi militants launched another ballistic missile attack, this time striking a Saudi-flagged oil tanker named the Amzan. The missile hit the massive crude carrier about 63 nautical miles west of the port of Yanbu. The Saudi National Shipping Company, Bahri, confirmed that the impact started a fire on the main deck of the 320,000-ton vessel. Fortunately, every single member of the crew made it out safely without any reported injuries. This strike is a serious strategic escalation because Yanbu is Saudi Arabia's primary backup pipeline route, designed to move nearly 4 million barrels of oil every single day without having to pass through the dangerous Strait of Hormuz. Because of these persistent missile attacks, commercial tanker traffic into that port has already dropped by about 1/3. Energy analysts are already sounding the alarm that global freight costs and war risk insurance premiums are going to climb higher as a direct result. These Iranian-backed terrorists are openly trying to choke the world's energy supply and disrupt global trade at gunpoint. When rogue groups can target commercial shipping lanes in broad daylight without facing immediate and devastating consequences, it shows you exactly why strength and deterrence matter far more than polite diplomatic statements. The latest now on the battle over election integrity, and Sacramento is having another predictable meltdown. After the Supreme Court lifted a nationwide injunction that had blocked White House limits on mail-in voting, California Governor Gavin Newsom scrambled to announce a brand new counteroffensive. Newsom and his allies in the legislature are rolling out a fresh package of bills that creates 3 new felonies, carrying up to 4 years in state prison for anyone who seizes ballots or directs postal workers to slow down mail ballot deliveries. Newsom is calling the White House rules an Orwellian plot to suppress votes ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. And California Attorney General Rob Bonta says a new federal lawsuit is dropping within days. Meanwhile, the administration is standing firm, pointing out that securing mail ballots is common-sense anti-fraud policy and asking the courts to clear away the rest of the postal injunctions. California cannot keep its own streetlights on or balance its budget, but it can draft 3 brand new criminal statutes overnight the second someone suggests verifying where a paper ballot came from. If California put half the energy into stopping actual street crime that it puts into inventing new felonies for federal postal rules, the state would be the safest place on earth by next week. A federal judge in New York has stepped in once again to tell the executive branch how to run immigration policy. United States District Judge Jeanette Vargas issued a 61-page decision striking down the Trump administration's suspension of immigrant visas across 75 different nations. The judge ruled that the policy went beyond federal law and exceeded the statutory authority of Secretary of State Marco Rubio. The policy had put a hold on immigrant visa applications from large parts of Africa, Latin America, Eastern Europe, and the Middle East, including countries like Brazil, Nigeria, Colombia, and Egypt. Under this ruling, all those blanket visa freezes for family and employment petitions are thrown out and sent back for individual review, though non-immigrant visas were not part of the order. The administration is already preparing an appeal to the circuit court. It is the same old story from the activist bench. A single district judge sitting in a courtroom decides that Marco Rubio and the State Department do not have the power to decide who enters the United States. Under this judicial logic, any foreign citizen anywhere in the world has a God-given right to an immigrant visa, and the government responsible for protecting American borders is just supposed to stamp the paperwork and look the other way. That is our broadcast this hour. Stay grounded, keep your eyes open, and I will see you right back here next time.